everyone, welcome back to another episode of What Do You Do with Laura Lee and myself. Today we're very excited to welcome on the show Katie Matthews. This is our special guest for today. So Katie, thank you so much for joining us. Can't wait to hear all about your career history and career development today.
So welcome Katie, and we'll just kick off with the title of our blog series, And What Do You Do? So can you tell us a wee bit about yourself and what you do?
Yes, no problem at all. Thanks so much for having me on. So this is the one question that when people ask me, I'm like, because I don't really know how to kind of summarize, because I wear like a lot of different hats. But that's the way I like it. You know, somebody said to me before that you're a multi-potentialite, and I was like, what does that mean? And they said it's where you can kind of use your skills in lots of different areas, where you can like excel in multiple spaces, basically. So I would kind of, I think I identify with that as kind of my title, if you like. But no, I'm an entrepreneur. I have a few different businesses. So I run a tuition company. I run the Mind Tribe UK, as you can see, which is mental health training and consultancy services. I also have Odence, which is I've co-founded with my partner, which is a candle and fragrance company. And then we also have recently co-founded Bloombug as well, which is all to do with coaching and mentorship, particularly for young people. That's sort of like the profit businesses, if you like. But what drives me, I'm very much, it's weird because I'm very much like a social entrepreneur as well. That's what I mean. I have kind of like multiple strands. So they would be the businesses, but then as well as that, I've also founded 2 voluntary organizations. So a couple of years ago, I founded the Young Entrepreneurs Network for Northern Ireland, which is for 18 to 30-year-olds that are interested in kind of like professional development, looking to build those connections within the entrepreneurship space, learn more about business. So it could be people that maybe are looking, aspiring entrepreneurs, or people that have started out on their journey, or like myself as a young entrepreneur, felt a bit lost and kind of didn't have that community and didn't know who to go to. So that's one of them. And then the other one I've just set up more recently. So this hasn't got much kind of like traction or history yet, but it's something that I'm really, really looking to build from September forward, is Phyla Global, which is the Female Youth Leadership Academy. So that would be the voluntary organizations that I have. And then I'm just giving you a list of my CV here. And then like position wise, like public appointments and things. I am currently the Northern Ireland National Director for the Global Entrepreneurship Network, which I absolutely love doing that. I am the Vice Chair of the Armagh Banbridge Craigavon Policing Community Safety Partnership. And today has just been announced that I'm on the UK SME liaison panel for the Business Banking Resolution Service.
Amazing. Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you.
Wow.
Love a bit of good news.
So yeah, quite a few things going on. So when someone says, what do you do? I'm like,
How long do you have?
Yeah, that's it. I'm like, I'll just give you the brief summary and then.
And what got you to where you are now, Katie? What started you off? How did you get into these roles?
Well, I was at Queen's until I was 22. Moved over to Northern Ireland when I was 19. So in 2 weeks' time, I'll have been here 10 years. I know, crazy. I'm literally like, I'm getting old. Yeah. And so graduated from Queen's in 2014, and kind of had done like a few of the entrepreneurship programs. And I was actually studying English. I got a degree in English with linguistics. And I was kind of like, I don't really necessarily want to go down the teaching route because I want a bit of flexibility. I don't necessarily want to do X, Y, Z. Everything that I kind of looked at, I was like, none of it really suits me, like, and who I am. And growing up, my previous managers and bosses and things had always said to me, you'll end up working for yourself. And they'd always said that about me, you're going to run your own businesses. So I was thinking about it and I was like, right, should I? Is that stable enough? Blah, blah, blah. But as people already know, well, if they don't already know, I'm very, very open speaking about mental illness. I was diagnosed with depression when I was 17, and then anxiety when I was 22. And that was in my final year of university. Basically, sorry to like bring the mood down, but a couple of weeks before couple of months, sorry, before graduation, unfortunately, I was sexually assaulted. And during that time, I was trying to complete my dissertation. I was running for president of the university. I was like literally trying to do all these things.
Yeah.
And then a couple of weeks after that happened was then when I met my current partner, who I'm now marrying.
Exciting.
But yeah.
Yeah.
But because of that, my anxiety then developed because of that. And I was unable then to literally function. Like I couldn't talk to people. I couldn't go out the house. I couldn't go anywhere by myself. I couldn't drive my car. I couldn't even answer the phone. Like that's how bad it got. And I ended up, after graduation, moved in with my partner, and then 6 months I literally like got signed off work with mental illness and couldn't do anything.
Yeah.
Like I was just in this paralyzed state. And that's what I always say to people now, they can't get me to stop talking. But it was very much a case of like not recognizing who I was anymore. Like I felt like I lost everything about who I was, my confidence, my identity, and just feeling completely lost, you know. And I'd gone into banking like literally just as a stopgap, just to try and pay some bills essentially. And I thought, right, I'll decide what I want to do down the line a bit. And then, as I say, mental illness got really, really bad. And it was during that time then that I thought, I need to work for myself.
Yeah.
You know, I don't want to be working for other people my whole life. And having other people dictate to me what my schedule was going to be and where I had to be and who I had to work with. And, you know, all these sort of, I don't know what the word is, but all these kind of just like a rules and regulations and framework, you know, that I had to adhere to, which other people had designed. And I was like, well, in terms of managing my own mental health and my own happiness, I felt like I needed to manage my own time and my own schedule.
Yeah.
So
You know, I'm
yourself as you're building your business.
exactly, that is exactly it. And that's what it has helped me to do, because I was able to channel my passion and my energy into things that I am passionate about and things that make me excited. So every single day I get to wake up and do what I want to do with my life. You know, so I can go for things that I'm interested in. I can work with the people that resonate with me, you know, in terms of values and vision, and I get to structure my life in the way that I want to. And you know, for me, I'm not driven by money. You know, as long as I can pay my bills, I'm happy. Do you know what I mean? I'm not like, oh, I have to have this and I have to have this to be happy. But I think it's taken that journey to kind of go through something that was so traumatic and soul destroying, to kind of reevaluate everything and go, do you know what? None of that's important. Nothing like material stuff, it doesn't matter. What matters is that I'm happy and that I'm healthy, and the people around me are also happy and healthy. And then from that, I was able to then kind of rebuild my confidence and basically grow into, you know, the person I am now. But I've definitely still got a lot of growing to do, but that's where I'm at currently.
There about, you know, finding things that, you know, bring you joy and working on those. Are you quite instinctual in terms of what you think you're going to like, or have you ever, I suppose, you know, jumped into a project and then thought, oh my goodness me, not for me? And I suppose, how would you kind of encourage people to, I suppose, maybe take a step back, you know, if they've maybe made a rookie mistake in, you know, trying something, and, you know, what advice would you give to someone in terms of then recognizing this isn't bringing me joy, this isn't helping me, and actually giving them the confidence to actually walk away when things can be quite pressurizing, as you say, around bills and, you know,
well, that's it, Laura. You know, a lot of the time we're so worried all the time, you know, about what other people think of our choices. And I think that's one of the main things that holds people back. Yes, of course, you've got the logistics, practicalities of, I need to pay my bills, I have to do this, I have to do that, I need this qualification before I can do that. We know that. But it's the other stuff that goes with that. You know, it's the fact that people worry so much about what other people think of their choices. And all that happens is that it ends up limiting them in what they actually want to do.
Yeah.
You know, and I was the same when I was younger. You know, I would have worried a lot about, God, you know, what people are going to think if I do this, and how will people react if I put a post like that, and oh, will they think I'm bragging if I put up that I won this award? And I still think that, you know, there's still that part of me that goes, oh God, should I talk about that?
Katie. You've got our worries.
Well, that's it. You're so right. Imposter syndrome, and I struggle with that every day still. You know, and a lot of women particularly do. You know, and I think again that links in with worrying about what other people think of us.
Yeah.
And we place so much energy and effort into worrying about how other people perceive our choices, how other people perceive our lives. And if we stop worrying about that for a minute and just park that and go, well, actually, it's my life.
Yeah.
I only get one chance at this. You know, recently, unfortunately, there's been a few deaths within the industry. Obviously, I won't mention any names just out of respect, but, you know, there's been quite a few people that recently have passed, and it almost reinforces that to go, do you know what? Life is for living.
Yeah.
Like, I only get one chance to do this. Why would I not want to be doing the things that I love, that make me happy? And if I can support other people in making that move into something they enjoy, not only does it give me satisfaction, but it's improving their life. Do you know what I mean? Because they're going to go, okay, well, every day when I wake up, I don't feel as if I'm like, oh, for God's sake, right, where have I got to be? I've got to do this. I've got to go to that meeting. I'm like, yes, get to do this today, get to do this today.
Yeah.
You know, and every week I have something, if not multiple things, to look forward to.
Yeah.
And it's not to say that that doesn't go without extreme challenge. You know, I spoke about mental illness, but also I was bankrupt 2 years ago. I was bankrupt at the age of 26. And do you know what I mean? Like, most young entrepreneurs haven't been through that. Most entrepreneurs haven't been through that. So that is another, again, it's that life-changing, almost emergency situation, you know, an extreme situation that you've been in, that you've gone, do you know what? This makes me reevaluate what's important.
Yeah.
And again, that was with my first business. And for me, I was so focused on achieving and like hyper growth, and everything has to be a certain way. Otherwise, I'm not a proper business person. I'm not a real entrepreneur if I don't have staff. I'm not a real entrepreneur if I don't have this much money in the bank account, you know? And I think it was that I needed that almost. And it sounds strange, but in hindsight, I can see that I needed that to happen.
Yeah.
I needed something that was so extreme that would almost make me sit up and listen and wake up and go, none of that is important, Katie. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
What matters is you and your happiness and your health, and the fact that you are here for a purpose, you know, and not to be all like mystical. What's the word? Not mystical, philosophical. That's it. Not mystical. I'm not a unicorn, but philosophical about it. You know, it's not even a religious thing. It's just, we're here for a reason, and whether we know what that reason is or not, I think it's, you know, important that we find some sort of purpose. You know, we all like to be needed. We all like to feel as if we're contributing or adding value to something. And it doesn't just have to be all these big fancy titles and all that there. That's lovely. But it's not just that. It's the little acts of kindness. It's showing genuine authenticity and empathy to people every day. Is that everyday leadership? You know, and that for me is what actually makes a tangible difference to people's lives. You know, so God, sorry, I could just talk all day. Can I ask me one question? And I'm like, oh.
Fantastic. And how would you, if you had to tell or advise someone on how would you even go about finding your purpose? What would your advice be to them?
Well, it's a hard one, because obviously everybody's situation is different. So I think, first of all, it's looking at where you are at the moment and going, okay, well, literally, like, I'm one for lists. I love writing lists. Laura's like, yes, get me a list. So, you know, I literally put down the things of like what I enjoy at the moment that I'm doing. What am I not enjoying? What's adding additional unnecessary stress? Are there things that I can cut out that are toxic and affecting my mental health? And sometimes that's also people. It's not just things that you're doing or work,
Yeah.
sometimes it is that.
Yeah.
But part of you growing and developing as a person, I think, is sometimes sitting with yourself and looking inwards, first of all.
Yeah.
Because a lot of the time we're so focused on looking outwards about like how other people perceive me and what do I need to do for this. But sometimes we need that little bit of quiet to look inwards and go, who am I at my core?
Yeah.
What are my values? What do I actually believe in? What is my vision for my time on earth? How do I see my life playing out? And then going, okay, well, this is ideally what I would like. Are any of those realistic? Because unfortunately, I'm all about growth mindset, and yes, you can achieve what you want to, but I think there has to be I call it realistic optimism.
Yeah.
Because it would be ridiculous for me to turn around and go, right, tomorrow I'm going to be an Olympic swimmer.
Yeah.
I'm not.
Yeah.
I can swim 50 meters and then I'm having a heart attack. But do you know what I mean? Like, there's optimism. Yes, of course, you want to be optimistic and you want to be positive, but there has to be that element of realism that goes, well, this is what I want to achieve, but now let's work backwards from that. Because a lot of people try and work forwards. But I the way I do it is I think of the end goal, what I'm trying to achieve, and then work backwards from it.
Okay.
And then I go, well, what are the steps that I need to put in place to get to that point?
Yeah.
And a lot of the time people try and think of it the other way around. They try and think of like moving forward. And I know, yes, you are moving forward, but you almost have to work backwards to lay the path to get to that point.
Yeah.
So that's what I would say, is to think about, what it is you're actually trying to achieve. We all know about SMART targets and setting goals and all that. That's fabulous. But again, realistic optimism has to come into that, where you go, right, well, my business probably isn't going to be making £1 million in 3 years. Very few businesses do. Do you know what I mean? Like, unless you've come up with something absolutely revolutionary, or you're in the tech space or a high profit industry, that's not going to be happening. So you're thinking to yourself, okay, right, well, do I need to be keeping a part-time job that pays the bills whilst I'm developing a passion project? Do I need to look at investment? Do I need to look at funding streams? Do I need to talk to other people that are already doing that before I make that leap? How did they go about doing it? And even this morning, that's what I was doing for a student. I was speaking to them, and they want to make the transition into sort of the mental health startup space. And I'm more than happy to speak to them. It's only half an hour of my time. I don't mind, because people did that for me.
Yeah.
And that's why I really strongly believe in paying it forward and giving other people that opportunity, and just being a sounding board as well. And I think that's another important part is, yes, you want to listen to other people's opinions, but it's up to you whether you choose to accept them.
Yeah.
A lot of the time people are so influenced by what other people think, as we've said, and other people's opinions, that it stops them and restricts them from doing the things that they actually want to do. Whereas if you've got a plan in place and you've got a support network, and you've consulted people, but ultimately it's your life and it's your decision. So I think as long as you've got some sort of good support framework around you and a plan in place, then you can basically achieve what you want to.
Oh, and amazing. That's really great. Thank you so much, Katie. And just, I suppose, you mentioned their passion project. What is your passion project for 2022? Do you think? Have you got one? Have you
Yes, I always have one. I always have it.
So I'm excited to hear about that. But what is your passion project for 2022?
Well, Filer is kind of my passion project. So setting up that voluntary organisation, as I say, I've only set it up this year. It was actually off the back of, I did a social media campaign in the build up to International Women's Day this year. And did you see? Yeah, so it was like, I think it was 56 women from across Northern Ireland, and asking them, their opinions on things. What do women need? What support do they need? And basically everyone was coming back and saying the same points. It was overcoming imposter syndrome, building confidence, learning how to network, building mentoring partnerships, learning from women that have been there and done it, providing opportunity for others, building leadership skills. It was all these things that basically all the women were commenting on. And it was off the back of that, then I thought, well, why are we not doing this from when they're really young?
Yeah.
Because you know, there was an interesting thing that I read that said that when women or girls, when they're 7 years old, that's when they start to then develop that kind of imposter syndrome. And it's from that age that they start to look at themselves negatively and develop, you know, body confidence issues and self-esteem issues. So my plan with it is to kind of develop a comprehensive leadership program for women and girls, but from the age of sort of like 6 or 7 all the way through to 30. So it's really comprehensive, and it would be a program and provide that consistency to allow them to develop through, you know, the first third or nearly half of their life. You know, and having that strong network. But obviously it's going to take years to build that, you know, into the way that I want it to be. But I want that as part of my legacy. And that's, again, you say about, you know, passion projects. That's how I see them. I see them as that's my mark that I want to leave on the world. You know, I want to, not so it's a case of, you know, oh my God, yes, I'm so fabulous, I'm so great. It's not like that. Yeah, exactly.
We'll make
Not
up
Florence Nightingale, but yeah, that's it.
but
it's something that resonates with you.
Definitely will.
Absolutely. So that's going to be my 2022 project, is kind of really knuckle down and focus on growing File Up, focus on growing the new businesses, because 2 of them are startups. You know, so I thought, lockdown, why not launch 2 other businesses that haven't got enough on?
That's brilliant, Katie. Really looking forward to seeing that take its legs and go big, because it definitely, that's the thinking behind it, and what inspires you to do it is just fantastic.
And the fact that you haven't just dreamt it up, you've actually listened and you know, got evidence to say, well, this is needed. It's not only needed, you know, like you've been working sort of in the 16 to 25 to 30 range. You're actually now saying, no, we need to go back and sort of that early intervention and actually, you know, just teaching people that it's okay to love yourself, be proud of yourself, and actually then, oh, you know, I'm great, and not being shy, I suppose, and just sharing.
Well, that's it. That is it. You know, that we're kind of always told that, like, you know, oh, don't be saying that, and don't be talking too much about yourself, and don't be boasting. And but I think there's a difference between boasting and being proud. Do you know what I mean? Because like
you've got something to say, and that's people should be listening. So
exactly. And the thing is, what's oh God, no, I was just going to say, what's wrong with celebrating, you know?
What you might not say to one of these questions from a random question poll. So, Katherine, lift out and see what Kay's question's going to be.
Okay, so this one is, do you prefer to go off the beaten path when you travel?
Sometimes. So it's the most wishy-washy answer. Sometimes. I'm with my anxiety, it's almost like controlled exploration.
That is me.
You know what I mean? Where I'll have a look at it, but I will also I'll even like yesterday I went somewhere new and I have to look on Google Maps in real life at the parking. So I have to literally drive around the town like this and see what it looks like, and also that's what I'm like when I go on holiday. I'm like, I need to know that it's controlled and safe, but also fun. So I sound so boring, don't I?
No, I'm the same. I'm like, I plan to have days where there's no plans.
Yes.
So on a week holiday, okay, on the Tuesday and Thursday, we'll see what we'll do, but we're not too sure.
Yes.
But everything else is in, like, regimented in. So
that's me. I'm like, here's your itinerary for the week.
I do. A bit of travel.
I'm trying to think. I don't really plan anything. I go with the flow if anybody says anything. But then that has ended up in bad situations, so I understand the planning sometimes. I really do.
Well, I think there's room for kind of flexibility there. You know, like say a plan gets cancelled or something, I'm not like raging about it. Because I just think it's not meant to be, or something else is meant to happen, or we do it another time. But I like to have some kind of like at least framework to go from. I suppose that's kind of how I am in life anyway. Like have some sort of overarching framework, but then some of the wee details might change, or a bit of flexibility. So I think I'm the same on holiday.
That's brilliant. Well, Katie, thank you so much for joining us today. It has been fascinating, really interested in hearing about what got you to doing what you're doing today, how many hats you have on your head, and hearing about your goals for the future as well. Really exciting times for you, and really looking forward to following these projects with you. So again, thank you so much for joining us today, and
Thanks so much.
Thank
Thanks, Katie.
you.
Bye.